I mean, I don't know whether this is a sign of actually the chief executive just changing things so that he seemed to be changing and so that he gets an easier time from the activist investors, or actually whether this made always perfect sense because they want to rationalize and also just make quicker decisions. If you have too many managers, it slows things down.
Of course. I mean, it's been a terrible 2 weeks for Unilever. I mean, Unilever will argue that they have been planning these changes for some time. I think everyone would agree they've allowed some kind of management bloat to creep back into the business. And that can be the kiss of death for a consumer company when you need to react very fast to changing consumer trends. So I think they'll argue that they are removing unnecessary layers of management. And all we know at the moment is that it's low thousands and it'll likely be regional and divisional executives. Of course, what we don't know is when Nelson Peltz's Triumph Fund Management began building its stake, if and when Unilever knew about it. And of course, they'll be wanting to get on the front foot of that, and often operational streamlining is something that activists demand.
Do we have any clarity on what they want, the activists?
Not yet, but what we know from his track record is Nelson Peltz goes into companies and he asks for organisational change, streamlining, reinvigorating brands that maybe are dated. He obviously most recently did that at Procter & Gamble, and with some very good success. Shareholder returns increased during his time there.
Yeah, Deirdre, has something gone wrong at the company? I know you were pointing to the fact that actually they fended off an unsuccessful bid from Kraft just a few years ago.
Absolutely, and they were considered, quite triumphant in the way they defended themselves. I think something has gone wrong there. I think partly it's structural in that they are in lower growth categories such as packaged foods. They're very exposed to the emerging markets. Nearly 60% of their business is there, and obviously those markets have been hard hit during the pandemic. You have largely unvaccinated populations there. Supply chain issues very hard hit by inflation, but I think they've also just been far too slow in recycling brands and streamlining their organisation. If you look at rival Nestle, I mean, they have moved very quickly to get out of categories that are seen problematic from a regulatory point, such as ice cream, confectionery, and they're in much faster growth areas, coffee, pet food, and I think Unilever's just been too slow to do that. They've been trying to, but clearly not fast enough.